Welcome to the Cycle Awareness Wednesday series. Today we will cover the last of the 4 cycle phases, the luteal phase. If you haven't catch the previous videos, head over to our YouTube channel to watch them. So Ines, tell us a bit like what is happening with the hormones in this phase.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So the hormones, if you follow the previous clips that we have done, and you can watch them on the YouTube channel, then we went through already the phases, and then the last one is the luteal phase. So if you need to catch up, go back and watch them. So the subject continues, and we are now talking about corpus luteum, is the follicle from which the egg was released, now grows inside your ovary and sparking production of your progesterone hormone, which is your mother hormone. And that also means that estrogen levels continue to rise, and it promotes additional padding for the uterine lining. And also what happens here is that progesterone starts to rise up. And this is very important to have it high up. This is our mother hormone that will, in case their egg is fertilized, the pregnancy will happen, and that progesterone hormone will make sure that there is no miscarriages, and that is very, very important. So the rise of progesterone also signals the pituitary gland, this really tiny gland within our head, to stop releasing follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. So that towards the end of your cycle, if the egg hasn't been fertilized, the corpus luteum, which I told you before, will be reabsorbed in the body, into our body, basically. So now that we have had the estrogen spike, progesterone spike throughout the cycle, and also testosterone has reached their peak, all the hormones now start to fall like leaves in the autumn. And this happens just right before your period starts.
Yes. So this period is also known by women as the PMS period. So why do we experience PMS? Like most of the women that I know certainly do.
Yes, I know this is very harsh part of that I know most women are experiencing. PMS is very, very common. Many women are going through this, and it's kind of, we would say this is normal, but it's not. It's completely unnecessary. And most of the cases this happens if the estrogen and progesterone ratio is out of the balance. As I told you before, the progesterone has to be super high, and then an estrogen slightly flow there, and to maintain the uterine the lining around. But if the progesterone is really low, that means that the estrogen ratio is really high, and that causes this balance that we are experiencing on a monthly basis, basically. So nature demands that we take the rest and attend to our needs. And it has built this balance into our hormonal cycle. So very crucial point.
What about the immune system here? Is there any link that shows that we are prone to catch colds? Like how is this related, so the immune system and like our hormonal system?
When hormonal concentration decreases, your immune system downshifts as well, and it's less likely to mount the inflammatory response. And it's doing so to promote the pregnancy in case it has the egg has been fertilized. So because it's otherwise it's like a foreign invader, and our body doesn't want to push that egg out just in case, and therefore immune system also can be slightly lowered. But if we are in balance in the first phase, we shouldn't be experiencing like catching much colds and stuff like that.
That's so interesting, and it makes perfect sense actually.
Yes.
Also, there's another thing that's very common in this phase, and in this are food cravings, like this uncontrollable urge to eat whatever is in front of you. And as women, we feel so guilty about them, but there's actually like quite a good explanation for this as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. So first of all, on a second phase, your metabolism is a lot, it's much more faster. And so that therefore you feel more hungry in this phase, simply because your metabolism is faster as well. So that in case there's you need to nourish that egg fertilization as well. And so behind these food cravings, this is desire for adapt these additional calories that are needed. And it will happen, especially if you haven't eaten on the first phase enough calories. This is where your body will like, give me more, you were starving me more on the first phase. So if you start paying attention, you will notice that, yeah, maybe I wasn't eating enough before ovulation, and now my body is like, it's just like going on any diet. You are just like, give it to me. And reproductive nature is geared to meet the demands of pregnancy. And this is one of the reasons that would be like, yeah.
Awesome. So what would you suggest to women who are experiencing food cravings?
So yeah, I get asked many times this question. So when estrogen level dips, this is where it's happening actually. So you need to boost up your healthy sugars, which one of them could be roasted like or baked root vegetables. So I say to my clients, go for sweet potatoes, but not over exaggerate, but just to flush that sweet cravings. So you don't crave for milky chocolates, bars or bounties or whatever that is not really great for our body. Aim for complex carbs to stabilize your serotonin and dopamine levels, and to prevent your mood swings, because this is what happens when our hormones decreases. This is everything decreases, including our hormones that are secretion enzymes and hormones that could be like responsible for our mood. Very important part. And also, if you go for high fiber foods, and this would promote your bowel movement. And because simply if your progesterone levels rises during the cycle, it slows down the transit time of your intestine. So therefore some women might be like, oh, I have gained weight, but your transit time has slowed down. Also, your appetite has increased. So therefore, yes, you feel like your jeans are a little bit tighter or leggings are a little bit tighter. But just because, bear in mind, is nothing wrong with that. It's just the hormones playing its role. It's their job to do so. So, I have talked a lot. I want to know more, Sarah, if you could share about how this phase is affecting us in our day-to-day life.
Sure. So what's also interesting about this phase is that it is the longest of all of them. So it can actually be divided into two parts. And in the first part, we can still have quite a lot of energy. And also it's like a great time to finalize projects, wrap up errands, also because our brain chemistry is like optimized for like detail-oriented tasks, and just like bringing projects to completion.
Yes, I have noticed that many times. And I also have had clients that experience anxiety, sensitivity, and overwhelm. I recently had a client, she's like, I felt such an anxiety. I don't know, where is this coming from? I just wanted to know if that's something that you could share, your insights.
Yeah, that experience is very common, and I can definitely relate myself. And it happens that, like these doubts and the fears surface, and this inner saboteur kicks in. But like it's not all bad news. Because first of all, we have to understand that the luteal phase is the last one in the cycle. So it supports endings and closure, bringing things to an end. So what is actually happening is that all the unfinished business, all the things that we didn't complete, that we just kind of left halfway done, or all the things that, stayed on our to-do list, or like the people we didn't get back to and all these things, everything suddenly comes bubbling up to the surface. So it can get very overwhelming very quickly. And especially when we combine this surge of everything coming up with this detail-oriented mind, that can get very critical and self-sabotaging most of the time. It can get a lot to handle and process. So the key in this time is to recognize this, take a step back, and utilize actually this critical thinking to help us make the choices about what isn't serving us anymore, and what are we ready to let go. So what are the things that we are releasing?
Yeah, that makes total sense, Sarah. And what else can we do to support ourselves in this phase?
Yeah. So because of all this like heightened senses and like being really detail oriented, we are also like more sensitive like to all the triggers from outside, whether that's like from situations or from people. So, and especially as the energy then in the second phase, part of this phase is like declining, it is important to use this phase to slow down and to minimize interaction with others, so that we have enough space to process and decide what do we want to carry on into the next cycle, what are we leaving behind. And it's not really a good time to have like important conversations, as I said before, maybe we will take things too personal, or yes, we will just get to triggers to have like a really grounded, productive conversation. So that's why it's important that like we speak up for ourselves, that we say no to like social obligations or something like that, and that we set firm boundaries, because otherwise we can just get like very irritated this week.
Yes.
Yeah. So just one thing that I wanted to add here is that like the good thing is that we are conscious about our cycle throughout the whole cycle, and we have been adapting our activities, our diet, resting when needed, and yeah, just like following our own rhythm and like supporting it in every way that we can. Also, this overwhelm in this phase will be much less, we will be much less affected by it.
Yes, I completely agree with you. Like this phase might not be the most popular, but it's very powerful, to be honest. Because this in this phase, this is where the truth comes out. uh, all the I would say the red glass rose glasses are out, because of the feeling in love is in the ovulation phase. Everything's amazing, and then when luteal phase, like, oh, I can see things more clearly for what they are actually. So this is how personally for me. And I know, Sarah, me and you, this week, we definitely been feeling the effect of this, because both of us, we are in luteal phase. So we felt a little bit overwhelmed, emotional. Yes, and we wanted like even like a mini retreat for ourselves and take things slower than we have been last couple of weeks. We last week we had a webinar that was quite intense and quite like uplifting, but also stressful, because you want to make it good, and you want to teach and give the best. So yes.
Yeah, for me personally, like this transition from the ovulation phase to the luteal phase is always like the hardest, because as you said, it really feels like, you're getting from this flow and everything is happening and you're like on top of your energy, on top of your game. Then like suddenly everything becomes a little bit harder and it's like the fog had come down. But as you said, this is all needed. This is part of the process. This is part of the cycle. And it can actually be like the most powerful phase because it's like I know that one of the authors, she calls this the firewalk phase. And this is the beauty of the cycle, is that we can use each cycle to evolve, to grow, to learn more about ourselves. And little by little, every month, like we release, we shed more of the things that are not serving us. So yes, that has been definitely happening this week for me, for us. I had a good cry yesterday to release, and we have both decided, like in our business, in our project, to let go of some things that are just not working. So yeah, it's been intense and powerful week so far.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah, for sharing. Yeah, we actually want to say something.
Exactly. So if you're watching this and if you're ready, like to fully dive in and experience the shift that happens when you align with the natural rhythm of your menstrual cycle, we invite you to head over to the link. You will find it in the bio, in the comments, and to check out actually our course, My Cycle is My Business Partner. And we prepared this course for female entrepreneurs who really want to utilize this potential of power that you already have inside. Every woman has this inside of her. So most of the women, because we haven't been taught about how to work with our cycle, why is it actually important, we are constantly working against our cycle. And me and Ines, we have been doing this for years as well, and it ended up in us like pushing against everything that we've been coming and just like working too hard and yeah, just really not being aligned with our own power as female creators and entrepreneurs. So then we also, when we started aligning, like first we started adapting how we eat, how we move, our lifestyle, all these things. But the real magic also happened when we adapted how we lead our business in the rhythm of our cycle. And it's really magical, it's really transformative. So if you are ready to experience that and take a course, a journey with us that will lead you and all the details of how this is happening throughout the month, that you will finally understand why are you feeling the way you are feeling and how you can use these different energies that come up in the cycle for your own advantage and for the acceleration of your business. Then we really invite you to head over to the link, check out the course. We added lots of bonuses, and there's even like if you need more info before you decide, you can send us a message, and we even put a workshop there for you to watch where we already talk a lot about it.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing this video. Our hearts to yours, Ines and Sarah.